friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Amanda and this is my June wrap up. So in the month of June, I read a total of 11 books. I did finish my June TBR Pursuit TBR, so that's a plus. And then I read some additional books. Because I've read 11 books in June, I'm gonna go through these quite quickly. To be honest, when I pulled up Goodreads, I forgot that I had even read some of these in June. I feel like it's been ages since I read them and I don't think I remember like a ton of the details, but I'll give you a short rundown. The first book that I picked up in June was Arsenic and Adobo. This is by Mia P. Manansala. This is a cozy mystery, the first one in a new series. I believe this is a debut, I could be wrong. I quite enjoyed this book. This is about a girl named Lila who's just moved back home to help her aunt run their family restaurant. She is Filipino and her ex-boyfriend shows up to have lunch there. He ends up dying and then the story just kind of takes off from there. And because he is Lila's ex, she is #1 suspect. So I loved it. I felt like the culture was great. The descriptions of the food were great. If you're really into like books that are food centered, I think you would really enjoy this. If you're just looking for something that's light and funny, even though there were some, you know, heavier things in here, but it was very well rounded. I very much enjoyed it and I definitely will be picking up the next in the series. I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. After that, I picked up The Summer Wives. This is by Beatrice Williams. This is my first Beatrice Williams novel. This is historical fiction set in the, well, it's a dual timeline. So it's set on this small island off of the coast of New England. And there are a group of people that live there year round. And there are a group of like elite rich people that go there and they summer there. But they are a very close-knit community, even the people that only are there during the summer. Our main character, Miranda, moves to this island because her mother has just married a man that summers there. And there's a little bit of a mystery element in here. It goes back and forth between Miranda, like back in the 30s, I think 30s, when she was there as a teenager, and then it comes back to like her 20 years later, returning to the island. There's like a first love element in here. Like I said, there's a little bit of a mystery element in here. There's a lot of sex in here that I was not anticipating. I'm not a prude, but I just wasn't expecting it. So, you know, if that's not something you like in your books, then maybe avoid it, but there is a lot here. So this was an okay read for me. I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars. I do want to pick up another one of her novels. She does have quite the backlist and I do like historical fiction. I just feel like this one just didn't work for me for whatever reason. I didn't find myself attached to any of the characters. By the end, I did find myself enjoying it a little bit more, which I think is why I ended up with a 3-star instead of a 2-star, to be honest. But yeah. And then I picked up The Book of Ivy. This is by Amy Engel. This is book 1 in a duology. This is a YA dystopian set in a world where society has collapsed and this man creates this community and then these other people come in and they fight over it and the other people win. So in order to keep the peace, the daughters of one side marry the sons of the other, and then the daughters of this side marry the sons of that other side. So our main character, Ivy, is the granddaughter of one of the founding members of this society on the losing side, and she is set to marry the president of the winning side's son. And so what happens is they have this, like, I don't know, matchmaking service where they match them up, but because of who both of those people are, they're set to be married, and Ivy's goal is to kill him. Like, that's what her plan is, to kill the president's son. I liked it. I felt like it was a quick, easy read. There is a sequel, like I had said. I don't know if I'm gonna read it because I feel like it'll be predictable. Maybe I will. This is a book from my Last Chance TBR. So I read it for that. I am gonna get rid of it. I don't think I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna unhaul it. But yeah, I mean, I felt like it was okay. In this society, there are traditional gender roles, like women are supposed to be having babies at like 16 and like being homemakers while the men go out and work. That was kind of annoying. There are triggers here for the mention of pedophilia, rape. There is mention of domestic abuse. I don't know what else is in here, but overall I enjoyed it enough. I did give it 3 out of 5 stars. And then I read Evidence of the Affair by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is just a short novella. I actually buddy read this with Chloe from Always Booked, and I quite enjoyed it. It's about a woman who finds out her husband's having an affair, and therefore she reaches out to the wife, or I'm sorry, she reaches out to the husband of the mistress, and they start corresponding via letters, and the story kind of takes off from there. It's quite short. It's less than 100 pages. I quite enjoyed it. Taylor Jenkins Reid writing is so good. I love it. I feel like in just this short amount of pages, would I have liked more? Yes, but in the short amount of pages, I feel like she did exactly what she set out to do with the novel, and it was just really, really good. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And then I picked up Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 4th book in the Throne of Glass series. I was supposed to have read this in May, but I didn't get to it, so I did pick it up in June. I was also supposed to read book 5, Empire Storms, but I didn't get to that. So I read it. I really enjoyed this one. This one's very action-packed. Kale still kind of got on my nerves in this one. So we'll see, you know, how the rest of the series goes, but I did quite enjoy it, and I ended up giving this one 4 out of 5 stars. After that, I listened to the audio of She's Too Pretty to Burn by Wendy Hurd. This is the 2021 release. It is a YA thriller retelling of A Picture of Dorian Gray. I've never read that novel, that classic. I've never read it. So, I didn't know what I was getting into, but to be honest, I really did not enjoy this one. It did not work for me. I felt like everything that was happening was just way too over the top, and there's just no way. Like, it would have just, it was too unrealistic. Even up to the end, like towards the end, I was like, oh, this is great, you know, like it was really thrilling and I was really liking it, and then just the things that were happening, I was like, yeah, like it just would have had, it was just too much, like too over the top, and so I didn't quite enjoy that one. This does feature a female-female relationship, which was really cool. But, oh, and I didn't like the main character. I felt like she was pretty insufferable, and I just didn't like her, and maybe that's the point. I don't know. I haven't read the classic, so I have nothing to compare it to, but I did give this one 2 out of 5 stars. After that, I picked up Bring Me Back. This is by B.A. Paris. This is the second B.A. Paris novel I've read. I liked it. It's a thriller. This is about a guy who is taking a trip with his girlfriend. They stop at a rest stop. He goes to the bathroom. When he comes back, she's gone, and they can't find her. And then I think it's like 7 years later or something, this same guy, the boyfriend, is now with the girlfriend's sister, and they are set to be married, and then these little wooden dolls start popping up everywhere, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. I liked it, and I felt like this one I read behind closed doors. Like, I liked it well enough, but I feel like they're just okay thrillers. What happened in here, I just feel like, again, was like completely unrealistic. Sometimes I can deal with something if it's like unrealistic, you know, it's fiction, so whatever. But I just, there's no way that this would have happened. I just don't believe it for a second. And so it was just a little too much for me. So I ended up giving this one 3 out of 5 stars. And then I listened to She Drives Me Crazy by Kelly Quinlan. This is a 2021 release. It is a YA contemporary. I quite enjoyed this one. It was really fun. It had the fake dating trope. It had the hate to love trope. I just really, really liked it. This is about a girl, and forgive me because I can't remember their names, but it's about a girl who is a basketball star, and her and her girlfriend have just broken up at the beginning of the novel, and she's having a hard time like getting over her, and she feels like no one really knows who she is. She's always kind of like in the background. She's kind of forgettable. And then the most popular girl, she's a cheerleader, and things happen, and they strike up this deal to start like fake dating, and then the story kind of takes off from there. It was really good. I quite enjoyed it. I felt like it was funny. I felt like it was lighthearted, and I really, really had a good time with this one. And I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And then I picked up Witches Steeped in Gold. This is by Shannon Smart. This is one of my 5-star predictions, also one of my most anticipated releases of the year. And sadly, I didn't love it, and that just breaks my heart to say this. The book is beautiful. It has all of the elements in the story that I would normally love, but it just did not work for me. Saying all of that though, I think I will pick up the sequel. I just don't think I'm going to buy the sequel. I think I'll just get it from the library. This story is a Jamaican inspired story set in a world where there are 2 groups of people. There are the Alumbrar, which are silver-haired, and they rule the world. And then we have the Obe, which are the oppressed class in this world. So the Obe get their magic when they turn 18 from their ancestors. The Alumbrar get their magic from like these gold conduits that they have to wear. It's a very complicated world. It took me a long time to get into. I felt like I kept forgetting things when I was reading it, so I'd have to like go back and be like, wait, who is that person, or what does this do? So I felt like the world building could have either been explained better, or there could have been more of it, in my opinion. Now mind you, the book is big. It's 500 plus pages. The action scenes were all mostly fade to black, which I did not enjoy. It's a dual perspective book, so we go from the perspective of Jasmine, who is the daughter of the current Doyen, and Ira, who is part of the Obe people. I enjoyed Ira's chapters more than I enjoyed Jasmine's. Jasmine had some elements in there that I liked, but really, like, I just didn't, I didn't enjoy it, and it makes me sad. I ended up giving this one 3 out of 5 stars. And then I picked up The Mistake. This is by Elle Kennedy. This is part of the Off-Campus series. I liked it. It was good. I mean, it's just like your typical sports romance type of novel. It follows our main character, Logan, who, you know, is on the hockey team, and he wants to go pro, but he has to take care of his father, and he promised his brother when he graduates from college he'll come home and, you know, take over the family business so his brother can have a break, because for the past couple of years his brother's been putting his life on hold to deal with the family business and their father, who is having some health issues and some alcohol issues, so trigger warnings there for alcoholism. I didn't enjoy this one as much as I enjoyed The Deal. It's been a few years since I've read The Deal, so maybe my opinion on that would have changed as well. But I did give it 3 out of 5 stars. I feel like these books are a good palate cleanser, especially when you've read something more heavy or fantasy based. And eventually I'll probably pick up the 3rd book in the series. And then the final book that I picked up in the month of June is I Stopped Somewhere by T.E. Carter. This book has been on my shelves for 3 years, and I pre-ordered this because of Kayla over at Books and Lala. She had talked about it. She was really excited about it that year. I pre-ordered it, and it's been sitting on my shelf ever since. I picked this up because of TBR Pursuit, and wow, I don't understand. I don't remember this book like being everywhere when it came out in 2018, but it should have been. This book is so good. Oh my gosh. The writing in here, there are so many lines that I just wanted to like tab up or like keep track of, because the writing is absolutely beautiful. It is such a heavy topic. This book is hard to explain, but I feel like I need to explain it as best as I can. There are some trigger warnings in here for rape and sexual assault. I think that's it. I mean, there's a lot of it. It's pretty graphic, so just be aware of that. This is not an easy book to read, but my gosh, if you can read it, I highly recommend it. Like I said, the writing in here is beautiful. I just loved it. Now, towards the end, the author did lose me a little bit. I felt like it was a little rushed and like a little weird. It didn't like fit, in my opinion, but throughout the whole book I really enjoyed it. This is about a young girl named Ellie who has never fit in. She lives in this very small town, and she is getting ready to go into her freshman year of high school. She doesn't have any friends. Her mother left her when she was just a baby, so it's just her and her father and their dog. And she makes friends kind of with the girl in the neighborhood that's older than her. She kind of takes her under her wing, gives her like this whole new look, tries to give her some confidence. So Ellie starts her freshman year. She meets this boy who is like Mr. Perfect. You know, everybody wants to date him, but for whatever reason, he has taken a liking to her. And so they start like hanging out, and then she becomes part of their friend group, kind of. But to me, he was just a big douche, and I could see it a mile away, but you know, she's getting attention that she's never had. And then the story kind of progresses from there. At one point, Ellie becomes the victim of sexual assault. Like I said, it's super heavy and dark and not at all easy to read. I read this, and then when I finished it, I decided to start watching Mare of Easttown, and I I cried in that first episode. I cried when I was reading this. Like, even talking to you guys about it right now, it's like making me emotional. It's just a fantastic, fantastic book. And if you can't already tell, like, this is a 5-star read for me. Probably, if not my favorite read of 2021, definitely top 10. It was just very, very, very good. And I can't believe that I waited as long as I did to read it. So this, for me, did what The Night Swim did not do, honestly. The conversations in here, it was just really, really, really good, and I really can't say enough good things about it. Like I said, if you can read it, if you don't think it's going to trigger you in some way, and you're in the right headspace, I would highly recommend it. But again, be wary because it is very dark and very heavy and hard to read. Okay, so those are all the things that I read in the month of June. Go ahead and let me know down below what you guys read, or if you've read any of these, what you thought about them. If you want to let me know you were here but you don't want to leave a comment, just go ahead and leave me some leaves. There's leaves all over this book. Go ahead and leave me some kind of leaf or tree or something, just so I know you were here, you enjoyed what you watched. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.